go one, you know, and get up and go the other way. Right, the odd dragging the old ones. I'll be playing now. I am. I was just here yet.
Right, we're standing here with Bob Boulder on the pitch at the Valley about an hour or so before his benefit game. Bob, although you didn't play an awful lot of games at the Valley, must be an awful lot of memories from your time at Charlton. Yeah, very much so, Steve, really. Obviously, I played most of the games at Selhurst Park and Upton Park. I don't know how many games, probably was it about 10 games I played here or something. But mostly enjoyable, really, and obviously, let's say, memories from Charlton. Got quite a few, obviously, like the playoffs and playing at Wembley and, you know, the Chelsea game. The Wimbledon game, Man U game, and lots of other things, really. This is terrific. You've obviously mentioned some of the games that stood out. I mean, any others? I mean, I'm thinking specifically possibly the Manchester United game, the 0-0 draw at Old Trafford on New Year's Day, when I think you had maybe your best game for Charlton. Yeah, I think you can say that, really, Steve. It was a terrific day, really, because we weren't going too well in the league, and sometimes, you know, you need a goalkeeper to like pull out a terrific game and that stops the slide, really, and I think that probably turned our season. And I think Lenny's said that to me a couple of times. But it was a great time. I mean, I think I made 10 saves or something like that. You don't really do that very often in your career, so, you know, obviously it was terrific against a quality side. And what about some of the players you've played with at Charlton? Any one of them? I'm sure many of them stand out, but any in particular? Yeah, funny enough, it always seems to be like a lot of the defenders, really, more than anything else, that stick out. Obviously Steve Thompson, Peter Shirtliff, John Humphreys and Mark Reed. And obviously got like midfield players like Colin Walsh was quality. Andy Jones had done quite well for us. And Robert Lee obviously was turned out to be a quality player. And he's got his international career on the lines as well. So really there's so many, really. And obviously the lads at the moment, Stuart Barmer, they're doing a terrific job for the boys. And obviously Curbs and Gritty, because Gritty played a few games when I was here, and obviously Alan Kirbysley did. So yeah, a terrific time. But a lot of changes in your time at Charlton. Obviously, you joined us when we were at Selhurst Park in the old First Division. Went to Upton Park in the old Second Division. Now we're back at the Valley in the new First Division. You've seen a lot of changes, Bob. The club's come out well of it, I think. Yeah, I mean, terrific. I don't think it's looked any better than it has now, Steve. Really, obviously, the financial side's stabilised a bit. The back home, which was absolutely terrific on the day. You say it took a long time. So I was here 7 years before they come back. Sometimes you never thought you'd come back to the Valley, and I was just glad that I was lucky enough to come back on the return, really, you know, after the hard work in the old First Division. But I say it's just terrific, and the clubs can look to the future. I think it's a marvellous stadium, and you know, the pitch is terrific. Like I better mention Paddy Powell for keeping the pitch so nice. But really, as I say, nothing. I don't think it'll ever look better, really, to go to the future. Now they've got to push on from here. And you mentioned the pitch, a nice pitch for some decent players tonight. Obviously Chris Waddle's here, Robert Lee is here, Gordon Watson's here, a couple of Charlton old boys, as well as many members of the Charlton present first team. And I mentioned Chris Waddle, Des Walker as well, another England international. Hopefully a good game tonight. Yes, hopefully so, Steve. I'm just well pleased that they've came down, really. Obviously Sheffield Wednesday is one of my old clubs, and that was my first club. I was a little bit concerned, obviously, because they're not really safe at the moment in the Premier League. But Trevor Francis said he'd give his word, and he's brought the team down. And as you see, he's brought the full first team down. Say Chris Waddle and Chris Woods in goal, obviously. And they've got a good strong side. Guy Whittingham, Mark Brighton. Yeah, and obviously we've got our superstars in the side as well, with Robert Lee and Gordon Watson and Halsey playing for 20 minutes. You know, it should be a nice evening. So all in all, a good send-off, Bob. We look to think there's a good crowd of Charlton fans here. And is there a last message for the Charlton fans who obviously have been, you've been one of the most popular players we've ever had, Player of the Year in '87, and perhaps a message for the Charlton fans?
Yeah, as you say, I was Player of the Year in '87. That was a terrific time for me, because obviously it was my first one I've ever had in my career. And obviously the support they gave in the first 3 seasons in the first division. But I'd just like to congratulate them, really, because obviously like to supporting Charlton through thick and thin, obviously through Selhurst Park, Upton Park, and obviously down here at the Valley. And really they've gone from strength to strength, and they supported the side. And as you know, this season it's probably like averaged about 10,000, which is absolutely terrific. And the crowd have always been good to me. And you know, I always like to think that I was never really too far away from them, and I wasn't sort of on a pedestal all the time. So yeah, I just like to wish them all the best, and obviously like keep the support for Charlton.
And we'll hope to see plenty of you back at the Valley and back at the training ground in the years to come, Bob.
Yes, you can't get a good man down, Steve, and obviously I'll be like hanging around a bit like a bad penny, I think.
Welcome to the Valley for tonight's benefit match as Bob Boulder returns to the Valley to take his place in the green #1 jersey of Charlton Athletic against his old team, Sheffield Wednesday. Bob is coming out, he's accompanied by 4 mascots, and I think he's going to shake the hand of every player on either side. There are some guest players playing for Charlton this evening, including Gordon Watson and Robert Lee, and Sheffield Wednesday's manager Trevor Francis, true to his word, has brought a full-strength side, including England internationals Des Walker and Chris Waddle and Chris Woods in goal. It's all set to be an excellent evening for Bob, and a fair crowd has turned out to pay their respects to a very, very popular former Charlton player. Bob Boulder, of course, was Charlton's Player of the Year in 1987. Bob joined the club in 1986 from Sunderland, costing just £20,000, and his manager at the time, Lenny Lawrence, felt that Bob was possibly pound for pound the best signing he's ever made. Bob began his career at Sheffield Wednesday in league football, having joined them from Dover. Bob, of course, had trials for Charlton as a teenager, but was rejected, believe it or not, on the grounds of being too small. Sheffield Wednesday was his first league club, and he played some 200-odd matches for the Owls. He then joined Liverpool, and although he won a European Cup winners' medal in 1984, Bob never actually played in the Liverpool first team. He went to Sunderland and was on loan at Luton before he returned to Roker and then joined Charlton in the summer of 1986. And then, as they say, the rest is history. One of the most popular and one of the best goalkeepers possibly Charlton have ever had. 296 games for the Addicts, and being honoured tonight with his benefit match at the end of a benefit year, and after a particularly good evening at the Swallow Hotel in Bexley Heath on Thursday, when Jackie Charlton, his former manager of Sheffield Wednesday, was a guest speaker. We'll look at the two sides for tonight's game. We'll look first at our visitors from Hillsborough. Sheffield Wednesday wearing yellow shirts, purple shorts and purple socks. And as I said earlier, Sheffield Wednesday manager Trevor Francis, true to his word, has brought a full-strength side down from South Yorkshire. Chris Woods, England's goalkeeper, in goal, number 1. At number 2 for Sheffield Wednesday, Peter Atherton. 3 for Sheffield Wednesday, Ian Nolan. And Wednesday are wearing squad numbers, so number 7 for Sheffield Wednesday, Adam Porrick. Number 17 for Sheffield Wednesday, Des Walker. Number 24 for Sheffield Wednesday is Julian Watts. Number 29 for Wednesday, Lee Briscoe. 25 for Wednesday, Michael Williams. At number 10, Mark Bright. Number 19, a player well known to Charlton fans for his goals against Charlton as a Portsmouth player, Guy Whittingham, wears 19. And of course, England's Chris Waddle wearing number 8, one of the most popular players of recent times to wear the white shirt of England. Wednesday have a number of substitutes, including Trevor Francis himself and another former England player, Mick Mills. For Charlton, the lineup reads as follows. In goal, of course, it's number 1, Bob Boulder. 2 for the Addicts is Mickey Bennett. At number 3, Sean Newton. 4 for Charlton, Keith Jones. 5, Stuart Barmer. 6, Steve Brown. And at 7, making a guest appearance for Charlton this evening, England's international, Newcastle and England's Robert Lee. At number 8 for Charlton, Peter Garland. 9 is Gordon Watson, Southampton's recent £1.2 million signing from, in fact, Sheffield Wednesday. At 10 for Charlton, it's 21-goal David White, and at 11 for Charlton, Colin Walsh. Charlton have a number of substitutes as well. Paul Linger wears 12, Carl Leeburn wears 14, Mark Robson wears 15, and at number 18, the Addicts' record goal scorer, Derek Hales, wears number 18 for Charlton this evening. So Bob goes to take his place in goal at the covered end. A goal he defended on many occasions, not perhaps as many as he would have done had Charlton not been playing at Selhurst and Upton Park, but a goal he defended certainly on one particular occasion, which was the first match back at the Valley when Bob played in goal in the 1-0 win over Portsmouth. So Bob takes his place in the covered end goal. Match referee Roger Milford is about to get the game underway. Sheffield Wednesday wearing yellow shirts, purple shorts and purple socks will be attacking the goal to our right, and Charlton Athletic in that familiar colours of red shirts, white shorts and red socks attacking the goal to our left. An early touch for Robert Lee, and this is a game I'm sure that we played at a reasonably fast pace. This is Peter Garland. There's a few players in the Wednesday lineup that I'm sure will be looking to make an impression this evening. And it will be interesting to see how Charlton's 21-goal striker David White fares against England's Des Walker. Even if the game is played at three-quarter pace, it's sure to provide great entertainment for the crowd here this evening. A nice little ball in from Waddle. This is Adam Porrick. And Wednesday mounting the first attack. Atherton to get the ball across. And at the far post, it's Mickey Bennett to nod the ball out for the first corner of the game to Sheffield Wednesday. Chris Waddle will trot across to take it. Wednesday, of course, without a game the weekend just passed. The Premier League clubs all had the weekend off. So Gordon Watson and Robert Lee, as well as the Wednesday players, will all have had a weekend off. Wednesday take this one short. It's back to Waddle. Waddle taking on Keith Jones. Waddle again. Rest of the time. And he's robbed by Robert Lee. And this is Gordon Watson making his first appearance at the Valley. A game that he was looking forward to very much indeed. Never played at the Valley, Gordon Watson. And here he goes again against Des Walker. And Gordon's in the thick of it as usual. And Gordon Watson wins the throw-in for Charlton. This is Garland. Jones. And now Bennett. And now Garland giving chase, but Sean Newton will get there first, and Newton turns and brings the ball away and finds Colin Walsh. Back to Sean Newton. In towards David White. Keith Jones, Robert Lee, and David White takes a tumble, so maybe it won't be such a gentle game as we thought. Colin Walsh has got Mickey Bennett out on the right hand side and finds him. Colin Walsh, who of course played for Charlton many times with Bob Boulder as a teammate in goal. Bennett again, Walsh is calling for it. Instead it goes back to Steve Brown. This is Jones. And now Robert Lee, back to Keith Jones. Colin Walsh, Robert Lee again. And Robert Lee is robbed by Porrick. And it comes to the near side to Peter Atherton. Making strides down this near side. He gets it back, ball across, and Steve Brown hooks the ball into the empty seats behind that covered in goal. And wouldn't that have been ironic if Bob had actually conceded a goal in his benefit match to one of his own teammates? So Chris Waddle will take the corner again, this time on the near side, the east-stand side. Garland gets the header away. Walsh heads it on. Robert Lee finds Garland. And Watson got flattened from behind by Michael Williams. And you can be sure of one thing, and that's that Gordon Watson won't be playing at half pace this evening. He'll be anxious to get a goal in his first match at the Valley. Whittingham, and Robert Lee gets in there, and Garland trying to get Watson away. It was intercepted by Watts, and now maybe Watson will get away. And Watson and Watts giving chase, and Gordon got away, but fouled Julian Watts in the process. And of course Gordon got a special reason for wanting to do well tonight, because he never really got a regular game when he was at Hillsborough. So maybe a point to prove to his former teammates, and indeed his former boss, Trevor Francis. Scored twice since he joined Southampton for £1.2 million a month ago. And Southampton, it seems certain now, will be in the Premier League again next season. And is this the first touch, I think, for Bob Boulder? And a cheer from the crowd there as Bob gets it downfield. Robert Lee gets in there. And Robert Lee holds off Porrick. Garland gets a challenge in. It'll be a Charlton throw just on the halfway line there. Mickey Bennett going to have to go all the way back to Bob Boulder. And I think we're going to have one of those evenings when Bob's probably going to get a cheer every time he touches the ball. Atherton's got time, and Waddle takes over. And this is a player that I think a lot of people in the crowd are looking forward to seeing tonight, Chris Waddle. And that's a good-looking knock inside the channel. Bowl will get there first. So more cheers from the crowd. And I get the impression he's enjoying himself. Gordon Watson with a good touch there. Walsh, Newton, Garland swings it wide, looking for Keith Jones, playing a very wide role tonight, the Charlton midfield player. Mickey Bennett's backing him up. Now the cross will come in. Far post, indeed it's way too far away from Chris Woods. And it'll be a goal kick to Sheffield Wednesday. Ian Nolan on the ball for Wednesday, finding Des Walker. And Walker almost lost it, and did he lose it? David White was nearly there. And number 10 giving chase is Mark Bright, a player I'm sure Charlton fans will remember from his days at Crystal Palace. And Bright getting in now. There's a chance for Mark Bright. He's taken it away from the goal. Across it comes to Chris Waddle. And it's over the bar. But Bob had it covered anyway. And Waddle intercepts. Charlton fans less than convinced, I think. Waddle plays the ball in quickly towards Whittingham. Whittingham, I think, looking to get it back to Chris Waddle. Atherton finding Waddle again. Whittingham collects, but Jones gets in. And Robert Lee takes over for Charlton. Finds Mickey Bennett. Mickey Bennett across to Sean Newton. That's going Walsh. And there goes Robert Lee on the right hand side. And Robert couldn't quite bring it down. Robert Lee had many memorable days on this ground for Charlton. I remember very clearly his debut for the club against Grimsby Town in March 1984. So some 11 years ago, it was a 3-3 draw, and Robert scored for Charlton on that occasion. He went to score over 60 goals in the red shirt of Charlton Athletic before his £700,000 transfer to Newcastle United, where he of course has since gone on to play for England. And of course, true to form, on his England debut against Romania, Robert was the goal scorer in that long draw at Wembley. And here is Robert Lee. Mickey Bennett on the overlap. He's trying to find Gordon Watson, and there goes Gordon. David White's in support, but there's a lot of Wednesday players back. The ball comes across to David White. Oh, shot comes in from David White, and it's deflected behind for a corner to Charlton. But Watson and White linking up well there for Charlton. Short corner from Robert Lee. Colin Walsh turns inside on his right foot now. Finds Mickey Bennett. Mickey Bennett's trying to get Watson in. Watson to White. And White couldn't quite get the strike on goal. And Sean Newton now's got to do some defensive work. And he's found Keith Jones. I think we're doing for Mickey Bennett, but Keith Jones has collected. This is Barmer. Steve Brown. Neat controlled play from Charlton. There goes Watson again. Garland. Well played from Peter Garland. Colin Walsh has got a lot of space in this near side. And it's shown great control. Sweeps the ball in, but it's going to dip over the bar. I think Chris Woods had it covered, although the Charlton fans in the East Stand here were thinking that it might just have dipped under the crossbar. So it remains Charlton Athletic 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0 in the Bob Boulder benefit game. Exactly 10 minutes played. 10 minutes played at what can best be described as three-quarter pace. But with the promise of some nice football, I think, to come this evening to entertain the crowd. Whittingham now giving chase. Sean Newton is the Charlton defender. This is Waddle. Oh, neat little ball inside the point, but it was just going to run out. And appreciative applause from the Charlton fans for Chris Waddle. This is Nolan. And now David White's in. And Watts just stuck a foot out and did well to find Atherton on this near side. Whittingham. Good running there from Adam Porrick. Oh, that's a foul from Steve Brown. Steve Brown, of course, was sent off on his last appearance at the Valley 3 days ago in the match against Luton Town. Roger Milford, I don't think, was looking for a trial on that occasion. Now Chris Waddle will take this free kick for Wednesday, and will he test Bob Boulder? Waddle slightly overhit that, I think, and caught Atherton ever so slightly unawares. It'll be interesting to see if Sheffield Wednesday get any penalties this evening. I wonder whether Chris Waddle will fancy one. Gordon Watson getting up, Garner getting in, and Roger Milford giving the throw to Charlton. Roger Milford, a referee who always enjoyed officiating at the Valley. Watson finding White, and David White's in. And it's 1-0 to Charlton. Watson and White combined again, and David White with a very tidy finish opens the scoring for the Addicts. Just 13.5 minutes played here at the Valley this evening, and Chris was really given no chance as David White tucked the ball into the corner. Watson and White combined well there, and it would be interesting to see how they would get on as a combination in the Premier League or even in the Ensley First Division. Watson and White up front for Charlton, what a tantalising prospect, particularly with Robert Lee adding to that forward line trio. So there should be goals in the cards in this game this evening. It will also be interesting to work out exactly what that trio might be worth in current transfer market valuations. I don't suppose you'd get an awful lot of change from £5 or £6 million for those three players. And Farmer and Brown getting the ball back to Bob Boulder, possibly more by luck than judgment. Robert Lee. Finding Sean Newton and getting it back. A lot of Charlton fans, I think, have come tonight to see Bob Boulder, but also to see Robert Lee in action again at the Valley in a Charlton shirt. A player rated by me to be one of the best we've produced of modern times. A chance for Porrick and a save by Boulder. And I think Bob enjoyed that. It wasn't the best shot I've ever seen Bob face, but he dealt with it neatly enough in any case. And I think he's enjoying himself out there this afternoon. I think, to be fair, Bob is still in good shape, playing regularly for Dagenham and Redbridge in the GM Vauxhall Conference, as well as the occasional game for the Charlton Vets. keep a clean sheet here tonight. There's Walker finding Peter Atherton with a clever pass. And Wednesday breaking forward, Waddle. I didn't think Waddle wanted the pass from Atherton to be quite so hefty. And it's gone out for a goal kick to Charlton. Leading at the Valley 1-0 against Sheffield Wednesday in this Bob Boulder benefit match. Wednesday, I think, can safely say that their future lies in the Premier League next season. Slight shadow of relegation perhaps hung over Hillsborough until about 3 or 4 weeks ago, but I think they can safely say that they'll be playing Premier League football again next season. And I think Bob and his testimonial committee greatly appreciate them coming down at this stage in the season, and particularly setting the side that they did. Shot by White, and a good save this time by Chris Woods. There's Walker. Darling gets it forward. Footwork from Chris Woods. Whittingham jumping with Balmer. Stuart Balmer getting the header away. Walker, nice touch to Ian Nolan, who played on this ground on a number of occasions for Tranmere Rovers before his transfer to Hillsborough. Sean Newton looking for Gordon Watson. Atherton getting the ball back to Chris Woods. Brown jumping with Mark Bright. There goes Atherton, near side of the field. Waddle again, slightly overhitting the pass, but it took a deflection, I think, of Colin Walsh, and it would be a corner to Wednesday, and that would be a throw-in to Sheffield Wednesday. Again, Colin Walsh getting the block. Finds Williams. Shot coming from Williams. And again, it'll be a corner. This time, Waddle will leave it for Lee Briscoe to take. Stuart Balmer got the header away. Comes in towards Bright. Like a handball, surely, from Julian Watts. And here's Walsh. This is Briscoe for Sheffield Wednesday. In towards Whittingham, number 19. Porrick sweeps it out to the left-hand side. Williams looking for Bright. The chip, or rather the header, looking to lob Bob Boulder there, but it went over the bar for a goal kick to Charlton. Brown finding Sean Newton near side of the field. Garland giving it out towards Colin Walsh near side. Keith Jones, rolling off David White. And now Colin Walsh. Ready to get the kick on towards Watson. And saved by Chris Woods. And Charlton certainly having the best of the chances in this game. Garland getting it forward to Watson. And Garland carrying number one. Peter Garland just slipped. Right moment there. Des Walker showing real class to bring it away for Wednesday. And Walker again, and waddles away through the middle, but Sean Newton's done a good covering job there. And now Walsh gets it forward, and I think Robert Lee is offside. Certainly David White was onside when the ball was played, but I think Robert Lee probably wasn't. This is Williams now. This is Briscoe. Oh, neat ball inside for Ian Nolan. Chip to the far post. There's Whittingham. Good header away by Sean Newton. And now Colin Walsh for Charlton. There goes Robert Lee. Des Walker giving chase. And Walker won that particular race. Woods finding Atherton, but Newton gets in first and finds Robert Lee. Robert Lee turns. He's looking for options. He's got Jones out onto the right-hand side and Gordon Watson peeling away. And Robert tried to find Gordon Watson, as he did on many occasions as teammates. And now Watson trying to find David White. White trying to hurdle that challenge from Adam Porrick. Wednesday have the throw. Great ball from Waddle. Mark Bright, we've got Whittingham in support. And he's picked up Peter Atherton. It's in towards Boulder. Oh, and it's in! Atherton scores for Sheffield Wednesday to make it one apiece. And I think Roger Milford is asking him, did you actually mean that? And I think Atherton was trying to flick the ball back into the middle for Whittingham. And I think Bob was a little wrong-footed there. But it's made the score one each. Peter Atherton with the equaliser. 25 minutes played. It's Charlton Athletic 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1. White, Watson, Walker. Now Bright. Now Williams. Neat footwork at the far post. There's Porrick. Briscoe with the drive. Saved by Boulder. The flag is up on this near side in any case. It wouldn't have counted, but certainly Bob didn't know about that and got his body behind the ball when it came in on the volley from Adam Porrick. Oh, I think that must surely be a foul on Des Walker by David White, but no flag from the linesman. The referee carries on. Watson in towards Robert Lee, and a challenge coming in from Ian Nolan, and that's more like it from Charlton. Watson, White, and Lee combining there. And I'm sure everyone else in the crowd is thinking exactly what I'm thinking. What sort of a forward line would that be to put in your side at any level? Particularly with Derek Ailes on the bench. Colin Walsh. Gordon Watson, Mickey Bennett, and now Garland. Forward towards White. Williams collects. And Ian Nolan now finding Charlton's Mickey Bennett. Watson lets it run. Keith Jones getting in there. Now Chris Woods with a bit of improvisation there. Volleying it clear with his left foot. Charlton now have a throw just inside the Wednesday half. Jones touching it off to Robert Lee. Watson gets a foot in. Williams sweeps it clear only as far as Sean Newton. Charlton applying a little pressure now in towards David White. Newton trying to get it back. Julian Watts can only get it away as far as Whitey. Chipped in towards Chris Woods' goal, but it took a deflection and Woods throws it clear, but only as far as Mickey Bennett, who was quickly alerted to the danger. Robert Lee now for Charlton. And Robert Lee sweeps it wide for Colin Walsh, and Newton goes in the overlap, but Colin Walsh is looking towards possibly Watson. Shot coming in from Walsh, and it's wide from the Charlton captain. Atherton near side, looking towards Mark Bright. Stevie Brown gets the header away, and now Mickey Bennett taking on Briscoe and showing his paces. Gordon Watson peeling away, looking to try and stay on side, and he ran all the way across the Wednesday back line there, but as they stepped up he couldn't quite keep his run checked. Now can Robert Lee get up? Now it might fall for Walsh if Walsh can get in. Waddle showing great control. Not perhaps such a good pass, but lovely control from Waddle. Newton, Jones, Garland. Twisting and turning, Peter Garland finding Mickey Bennett. Now, White's in there, Nolan gets it away. Garland again looking to create some space. And finding a terrific pass from Mickey Bennett, who takes it well on his chest. Mickey Bennett sweeping it across, and it's come out all the way to Colin Walsh. Walsh with a chance to whip it in for Charlton. It's going to go all the way up again to the far side, back to Bennett, and now perhaps a third opportunity to get the ball over. Watson, Jones, Steve Brown now. Garland looking for the chip, but perhaps a bit ambitious from Peter Garland. But there was a chance there if Robert Lee had got in for the header. Now Robert Lee's in on goal. Robert Lee with a chance. He took it early and he was forced wide. And now Mickey Bennett showing his paces. It'll fall for Jones. Nice knock from Chief Jones. Gordon Watson, first time cross. And that won't have pleased Gordon Watson. Now Keith Jones has got Sean Newton making tracks. Jones going straight at the heart of the Wednesday defence. Colin Walsh is on the overlap, if Newton can wait for him, and he can. Nice knock in from Walsh to the far post. There's nobody there, unfortunately. Whittingham has got a chance to get Porrick away. Great challenge from Sean Newton. Robert Lee now for Charlton. Could he unleash something special? That was a foul. As well as seeing a few saves from Bob Boulder, I think there's nothing more the Charlton fans would like to see than a strike on goal from Robert Lee to rekindle memories of his days as a Charlton player. Wasn't that long ago, to be fair, that Robert left for Newcastle. Colin Walsh with a chip. It's taken a deflection and it'll be a corner. Robert Lee's last days in a Charlton shirt 2.5 years ago in the autumn of '92. And here is Robert Lee once again collecting the short corner from Colin Walsh, taking on Chris Waddle perhaps. Jones trying to get it in. Lee's got it back. And Robert Lee hustled out of it, but gets it back. Steve Brown now. Stuart Balmer. And Sean Newton. And Robert Lee again the target. And now Peter Garland. He's looking to line a shot up, and Chris Wood this time was alive and alert and made the save. Steve Brown gets the header in towards Watson. Des Walker getting in the challenge there. Probably a bit of a personal duel going on between those former teammates. Mickey Bennett having to do some work now. Briscoe it was who got the cross in, but Boulder was first there. Walsh. And now Sean Newton. Now Colin Walsh again. Peter Garland is the player he's aiming for, and it was another measured pass by Colin Walsh. Now Atherton. Walsh again going to close him down. Here's Waddle. This is going out towards Ian Nolan, left hand side. A cracking pass from Waddle there. This is Briscoe. Briscoe's got a chance to get a shot in, perhaps it'll maybe come for Porrick. Good drive and well blocked by Steve Brown. Now Robert Lee with a chance to stretch his legs perhaps. White and Watson up ahead. This is Watson. Everything to his left. It came in towards Garland. And Nolan tidies up for Tranmere. Another fine pass from Waddle to Atherton. As Wednesday begin to spread the play once again. Not a particularly good pass from Williams. And this is Keith Jones. And Watson and Robert Lee give chase again, and Julian Watts this time will get there first for Wednesday. "37 minutes played here at the Valley on a pleasant April evening. It's one apiece between Charlton and Sheffield Wednesday. Keith Jones giving chase. And Jones getting into the gap there and winning the throw. And I think Julian Watts thought he'd won the throw. It did look as if maybe Keith Jones was the last player to touch it. Roger Milford felt differently. And he was better placed than himself. Now Robert Lee with a chance possibly to open up with a drive. And a lovely dummy. Now Robert Lee with a chance for the shot in. Oh, well saved by Chris Woods. Real class there from Robert Lee. And much appreciated by the Charlton fans. Now David White, can he go one better? Jones. Lee, Walsh is outside him, but Atherton intercepts. Peter Garland now for Charlton. He might be thinking of a drive from a long distance out, and it is a long distance out, and it wasn't that far away either. And he must have been fully 40 yards out. And we've often talked about how we like to see Charlton getting in more shots during their league games, and certainly Peter Garland didn't need a second invitation. There was a bit of space for him, and he let rip from, it must have been something like 40 yards. It wasn't that far away. Bennett with a good interception, and Boulder and Newton combining well, and Bob sweeping the ball downfield for White to touch on and Watson to give chase. But Julian Watts just tidied it up neatly for Sheffield Wednesday. Oh dear. Steve Brown came off second best there. Roger Milford saw that as a foul for Wednesday. Waddle steps in, and that's going out towards Ian Nolan. Far side of the field, the Wednesday left. In towards Whittingham, and Brown gets the header away. Now Atherton. Finding Waddle. Atherton again, with space to knock across in. Whittingham is the target. Briscoe, Williams, and Whittingham gets it across. Steve Brown with a header away, only as far as Williams. And now Porrick. Stuart Barman steps in there for Charlton. Walsh, White. Lee now for Charlton. Sean Newton's got space on this near side, and Peter Garland can find him, and he has done with a fine pass. Now it's Newton for Charlton. Waddle and Atherton are the Wednesday defenders. Newton cuts inside. But one touch too many perhaps. Garland is the offering. Oh, and that's fallen now for Keith Jones. Can he whip it back into the box? He can. Walsh is in it with a header. And Chris Woods makes the save. White, I think, was looking for the foul. He didn't get it. This is now is Robert Lee. Giving chase again, Robert Lee. Hooking it across. There's no one on this side of the penalty area. Waddle back to Briscoe. Mark Bright gives chase. Waddle again, finding Ian Nolan. And well held by Bob Boulder. And there indeed is the half-time whistle. An entertaining first 45 minutes with much to admire in terms of passing and movement from either side. But it's half-time score. It's Charlton Athletic 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1. So Sheffield Wednesday get us underway in the second half here at the Valley. The score is 1 apiece. Carl Leeburn is on for Charlton in place of David White. So we've got a forward line of Leeburn, Watson and Lee. And that's a forward line that the Charlton fans will have seen a few times before. Back in the days of the old second division about 4 years ago. Whittingham trying to find the ball through the middle. Oh, it might fall for Waddle. And instead it comes out to Ian Nolan. Flags up on this near side against Keith Jones. Watson finding Colin Walsh, far side, ball swept in towards Leeburn. And an important header there from Des Walker. John Monks on this near side, linesman, getting a little bit confused, I fear. Now Keith Jones, beaten by Nolan but wins it back. Bennett, Robert Lee. Turning away from Whittingham, but not away from Des Walker. This is Chris Waddle. Lee gets it down. Now Mickey Bennett finding Colin Walsh. Out it goes to Sean Newton. Balmer finding Walsh. Whittingham gets in front of him. Now Williams. And now Linnigan, the second half substitute. Waddle finding Briscoe with a great pass. Briscoe trying to get a shot in. Steve Brown, I think it was, the Charlton defender who got the block in. And Derek Hales being given a round of applause as he makes his way along the east stand touchline. Waddle with the corner. Linnigan gets up. Steve Brown with the header away. Derek Hales is chatting to John Monks and the linesman, waving the Charlton team forward. Are we about to see an entrance from Charlton's record goal scorer, I wonder? Linnigan looking for Williams. Briscoe might have to get there and just keeps it in. Mickey Bennett with a good strong challenge, but Williams wins it off him, and now Williams making for the byline, pulling it back. Nolan now for Sheffield Wednesday. Waddle is square. Great looking ball in, but Brown recovered well to head the ball clear. Jones in tight space, but finding Sean Newton nonetheless. Gordon Watson making the run. inside left channel, finding Colin Walsh. Leeburn coming in, Jones looking up, Garland finding Keith Jones, and now Colin Walsh. Charlton playing some neat passing football, but can they find the opening? And Newton almost got in there. Pressman now replacing Chris Woods in goal in this second half. Clips it out to Ian Nolan, who knocks a ball in towards Briscoe. Stuart Balmer had to clear. Mickey Bennett finds Steve Brown. And Steve Brown again for Charlton. Robert Lee, Mickey Bennett, and Colin Walsh seeing a lot of the ball. Fine looking pass for Carl Leeburn. Leeburn holds it up. Now Robert Lee bursting into the box. Trying to find the cross, couldn't quite get the angle. Keith Jones let it run. Gordon Watson might get in there. Walsh, I don't think Leeburn was quite looking for Colin Walsh in that type of fashion. I think he was aiming towards Sean Newton in actual fact, but it's run out for a goal kick. Here's Waddle, and this is Peter Atherton. Stuart Balmer gets it away, and now Peter Garland. Get Robert Lee inside if he can find him. And there's Mickey Bennett with an acre of space on this near side. Leeburn now making the run into the inside left channel, trying to hold off Des Walker. Now Walsh with a cross in towards Gordon Watson, but Preston makes a good catch and finds Chris Waddle. And that's a ball out to the far side. This is Williams. Leeburn, I think, was blocked by Linnigan. And we're going to have a substitution. Sheffield Wednesday are going to make another substitution. Lee Briscoe is the man coming off. Applause from the Charlton fans. And could this be Trevor Francis? And appreciative applause for Trevor Francis, the Sheffield Wednesday player manager, stepping out onto the pitch at the Valley this evening to take his place on the left-hand side of the Wednesday attack, wearing number 14. Whittingham tried to thread it through the gap there for Ryan Jones. And now Francis to Nolan. And now a touch of Bob Boulder. In fact, number 26 for Sheffield Wednesday is Richard Barker. Not amongst the original selections. Looks a lot like Ryan Jones to me, though. Now Nolan. And he leaves it for the boss, Trevor Francis, in towards Chris Waddle. And Waddle takes over. And that familiar sidestep, leaving it for Nolan. Trevor Francis looking to chip it in, and it might have deflected towards Nolan. The first ever £1 million player when he was transferred from Birmingham City to Nottingham Forest in 1979, Trevor Francis. Watson leaving it for Leeburn and getting it back, and he tried to thread it through the gap for Robert Lee. And now Walsh looking up and trying to find Watson, and the header for Watson, oh, just wide. Great knock in from Colin Walsh. Watson climbed well, And the header was just wide, and I know that Gordon Watson would love to get a goal at the Valley, particularly against his old teammates, but I think especially at the covered end. Francis making Nolan run, and Mark Bright just stepped a yard offside. Leeburn combining well with Mickey Bennett. Mickey Bennett heading for the penalty area. He wants to go to Des Walker's right. He swept it in. And it's cleared. And Francis shows good touch. Whittingham calling for it. This is Barker. Williams. Robert Lee steps in. Bright with the header, but it'll fall to Mickey Bennett. This is Newton. Walsh finding Leeburn. And now Garland. Jones. Garland takes over. Is this a shot coming in from Peter Garland? It was blocked. It will fall for Watson. An ambitious looking volley from Gordon Watson, but it's still in play. Robert Lee finds Walsh. Walsh again now for Charlton. Going for the byline. And he crashes into the barriers. And it's helped back over by Robbie Milford. And another substitution coming up for Charlton. Oh, and I don't think that we're going to see the corner being taken, as Charlton look to make a couple of changes. Keith Jones is coming off. And so too is Colin Walsh, as Paul Linger and Mark Robson come into the action. Robson with an early touch now. Garland, this time he tees up the shots. And another terrific drive from Peter Garland. Well saved by Pressman. Now Francis with the drive. Oh, fine goal. Trevor Francis. And that was a throwback to the days of old. Bob Boulder beaten there from 25 yards. Trevor Francis with the drive. And Sheffield Wednesday take the lead here at the Valley. That really was a super drive by Trevor Francis. And let's see if Charlton can get back into this game. Robson. Watson was looking for Lee. Francis looking for Bright and Barker, but Stuart Balmer stepped in there and showed real composure to find Bennett. Swept across towards Mark Robson. Garland making inroads. Robson bringing it with him, finding Linger. Robson again. Robson. Bennett. In towards Linger. I think he was expecting Bennett to go for the return, but he didn't. And Wednesday bringing away, and they've got men forward. It's 3-on-3. Whittingham's got Barker to his left, and the pass was slightly overhit, but Barker will keep it in play. Trevor Francis is the player in support, wearing 14 for Wednesday. Look to find Waddle, and Linger brings it away, finding Garland. Now Robert Lee wants it. Now Robert Lee's got a chance to stretch his legs once again. Finds Linger, and now Watson wants it through the middle. Watson is through the middle. Watson's in on goal for Charlton, and Watson scores for Charlton. And Gordon Watson will be delighted with that goal. It brings the score level to 2 apiece. And suddenly the goals have started to come as we've passed the hour mark. Just the 1 or 2 of the Wednesday players, and in particular Ian Nolan, the left back wearing 3, was looking perhaps for the offside flag, but John Monk kept his offside flag down, and Watson ran through to tuck it into the corner, and that goal will have meant a lot to him because it was against his former club, but also because it was the first goal he's ever scored at the Valley. Linger, and Watson's through again, and now Watson's got a chance to square it back. Leeburn's in there, so too is Lee. Robert Lee with a drive. It was well struck, but it was blocked, and it's a throw-in, and it's a corner to Charlton. Robson to Lee. Now it's Peter Garland, and now Sean Newton, who can strike them as well. But that wasn't one of his better efforts. Nolan bringing it out of defence, finding Trevor Francis near side. Beaten by Bennett. Garland, and again Watson's the target. Now he's got Lee in support. Oh, nice touch from Watson. Lee's in. Leeburn at the far post. Just too far ahead of Carl Leeburn. He tried to nick it off Chris Waddle, but Waddle wasn't having anything in it. But now it's back for Watson, and now for Leeburn, and now possibly for Paul Linger. Oh, and I thought it was going in. Watson now with a chance to get the shot in, and Watson almost danced his way through before being robbed by Des Walker, and now Waddle brings it away, and showing that superb close control makes it a little bit of a space for Nolan, and Waddle none too pleased at his teammates' movement off the ball. Now Lee, and now Robson. It's beginning to warm up a bit. The pace is really rather quicker than it perhaps was in the first half. Lee now going to shape inside on that right foot. Thought he might have tried the drive. Linger. Now Leeburn. Linger making the overlap, and there goes Linger. Can he find the cross? Des Walker gets in, and that will be a throw. Here's Robson trying to jink and work a little bit of space. Linger and Stuart Barmer suddenly make a run forward. Robson again. Now can he possibly get the cross in? Didn't quite work that time. Steve Brown with Barker. And referee Roger Milford rules that that is worth a free kick to Sheffield Wednesday, which Trevor Francis will take. In fact, he'll collect it short from Nolan. And he'll ask Peter Atherton to make a run, but instead it goes short again to Nolan. Linger. Ooh. And Des Walker went rather Brian Linegan in actual fact it was, went right through his old teammate Gordon Watson. And Gordon explains just how he saw that tackle. And now Leeburn's got a chance to possibly, I thought he was going to play Robert Lee in there. It's gone out to Peter Garland. Mark Robson making the overlap. And I'm not sure if they rehearsed that move in training, but it's ended with Sheffield Wednesday on the overlap, on the attack. Whittingham now. Waddle almost got through the two challenges. Robson finding Lee, Watson taking over. And almost getting it back to Lee, but Des Walker wasn't having any of it. Now it's Ian Nolan. Now it's Trevor Francis. Whittingham in space. Now Whittingham could pick up the drive possibly. Oh, fine goal from Guy Whittingham. Once again, Bob was beaten. And it really was an excellent strike by Guy Whittingham. Trevor Francis picked him out in plenty of space. Centrally, 25 yards out. And Whittingham cracked the ball into the left-hand corner of Bob's goal. It's 3-2 to Wednesday, and we've still got 24 minutes remaining, so plenty of time, one would hope, for Charlton to get back once again on level terms. Linger. Bennett's this side. And first it comes to Steve Brown. Now it's Mickey Bennett. Robson wins it. Leeburn. Leeburn did well. Gordon Watson. Oh, has he picked out Linger? And now for Garland. Oh, yes! What a goal from Peter Garland. How about that? And I think Peter Garland enjoyed that one, certainly. Watson with the cross, Linger with the header, and what a strike from Peter Garland. And we're going to see a couple more substitutions, and Gordon Watson is the player going off. Gordon Watson goes off. And Gordon Watson, I think, very much enjoyed his first appearance at the Valley. He scored a splendid goal. And I think now he's going to need to sign a few autographs in the West Stand. It's 3 each now. Steve Russell, a guest player, is the man who has replaced Gordon Watson, and is Whittingham shaping for another drive. Farmer finding Garland, Robert Lee, and Leeburn giving chase. Walker trying to hold off Leeburn and did very well there to find Nolan, who lets it run for his manager Trevor Francis. That's neat football from Wednesday. That's a nice looking pass for Mark Bright if he can get there. Steve Brown's going to get the challenge in. Fine pass from Ian Nolan picking out Atherton. Now Francis, this is another chance for the strike. This time it's a yard over Bob Boulder's goal. Francis in possession. And plays a nice pass again for Atherton. Trevor Francis may be getting on in years, but he's lost none of his touch, certainly. And Atherton suddenly appearing on the left-hand side to support Ian Nolan. And indeed, Atherton is the player in possession. A right back popping up on the left wing, but it's that sort of game. Francis now looking for Whittingham, and he found Whittingham as well, but he couldn't quite bring it back, and it's Linger picking it up. Robert Lee, Stuart Balmer, and now Peter Garland for Charlton. Mark Robson, Linger on the overlap, but Garland's there as well. Robson looking for a gap, possibly. Bennett. And Steve Russell will get his first touch. Newton's on the overlap. It wasn't a particularly good ball in, but it'll come for Newton again. And Whittingham slips away from Garland, but not from Linger. And Mark Robson couldn't quite bring it down. Francis now. Waddle making tracks through the midfield. If Francis can find him. This is Waddle. Nice one too with Nolan. Nolan's got space now to whip the ball in, but it's a poor cross from Ian Nolan in Bob Boulder's benefit match. And still, I think the prospect of plenty more goals to come, and maybe even the prospect of seeing one of Charlton's greatest ever players, Derek Hales, back in the action at the Valley. And Barker very nearly got his head to that one. And I think we're going to see another substitution very shortly for Charlton. Perhaps when the ball goes out of play again. Francis is looking for Whittingham. Steve Brown heads it away, but Williams collects. And now Chris Waddle. Oh, and Francis is in now. And now Williams. Oh, it ran too far ahead of him. Whittingham possibly. And they made a bit of a hash of that Wednesday. And Garland's won it. Linnigan finds Atherton. Atherton's kept it in. And now Whittingham with a flick. Robson can turn and bring it away. And now Robert Lee and Leeburn are ahead of him. And there goes Robert Lee. And I don't think Robert Lee will keep this in. We are going to see a substitution. And Mark Robson, believe it or not, is the player coming up. He's only been on 10 minutes. And he's a bit surprised, I think. Mark Robson has been substituted on a few occasions this season, but not after 10 minutes. But I don't think anybody's going to mind, because it's Derek Hales, the man who's coming on. And in fact, it's not Mark Robson that's going off. It's going to be Peter Garland. Well, we're having some fun with the numbers, but Peter Garland, the man who scored the third goal for Charlton this evening, is in fact the player going off. And Derek Hales is in the action for 15, 16 minutes here at the Valley. Now, a goal from Derek Hales, I can assure you, will bring the house down. And let's see what the old fella's touch is like in front of goal. I'd be surprised if it was anything less than deadly. But then he did score 168 goals for Charlton in his career with the Addicts. And I can quite confidently predict that Derek Hales will be cheered every time he gets near the ball. Never mind actually getting hold of the thing. Derek Hales, in fact, his last league game for Charlton was some 11 years ago now, in 1984. But now he's back in the action, up front with Carl Leaburn, two Charlton legends up front. Quite a partnership, that one too. And I wonder what Des Walker makes of Derek Hales. Don't upset him, Des, whatever you do. Waddle now for Wednesday. Looking for Trevor Francis. Another inch-perfect pass from Chris Waddle. Good first touch from Trevor Francis. Trevor Francis and Mickey Bennett getting a little friendlier than perhaps they'd imagined. And now Robson with a little space to bring the ball away. Oh, and Bennett showing neat control in the penalty area. Steve Brown. And Steve Brown's lost out to Guy Whittingham. Whittingham trying to get it through towards Newton. Lee and Whittingham tussling for the ball. Are we going to see something special from Robert Lee? Now Waddle possibly. Could he be lining something up? Chris Waddle. Oh, just wide. And it was Trevor Francis again who's turning the second half into a shooting gallery in some respects. We've seen magnificent goals from Francis and Whittingham, but perhaps topping them both, Peter Garland for Charlton. And Francis nearly added to the repertoire of outstanding strikes there with that volley that went just wide. Now, Steve Russell bringing it down there, but wasn't able to get the ball under control. Balmer with the header. Now Mickey Bennett. Brown for Charlton. Leaburn. And there goes Sean Newton. Bennett closing down Francis. And now possibly a touch for Derek Hales. No doubting his popularity, certainly. Now, Ailsey got up with Des Walker. Perhaps an unequal contest now, but I'd like to have seen how those two would have got on against each other when Derek was perhaps about 15 years younger than he is now. Steve Brown makes a good interception. This is Bennett. A brief touch there for Russell. And now Robert Lee. Linger now. Linger winning it back, and now Leaburn could get away from Waddle. Robert Lee trying to find Paul Linger. Atherton's the defender. Linger almost got away from him. Pressman's got a bit of work to do. Oh, and Derek Hales with a tackle there. And he worried Pressman. But Wednesday bring it away. Walker, Francis, lovely touch from Francis, sending Michael Williams away. Really was class from Trevor Francis. Williams now bearing down on goal. Whittingham, just wide from Guy Whittingham. Again, it wasn't far away.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the game, we would ask you not to go onto the pitch. You would understand we still have important league game left to play here at the Valley. What will we do a Macedon at the end of the game? Thank you for your cooperation and your support this season.
Grateful applause there for the Wednesday players for coming down. And will Waddle crown this performance? Not like that, he won't. And I think Bob looking with mock disgust at his back four. As we move into the last 10 minutes of a highly entertaining friendly match between Charlton Athletic and Sheffield Wednesday as part of the benefit year for Bob Boulder. Now Robson, can he get it across? He wants to see Russell making a run for it, I think. There's no flag. He tried to pick out Linger, I think. Mickey Bennett doing well. I think Bob Bowler wants to get back into the action with just 10 minutes to go. Here comes Bob. Trevor Francis was letting him run there, and I think he was trying to tempt Bob up the touchline. Walker. Waddle. Francis. And there goes Barker. Steve Brown again giving chase. Whittingham in towards Williams, and Boulder collects it comfortably. Lee. Barmer. And now Mark Robson. And there goes Mickey Bennett. Taking on Nolan. Oh, and I thought that might have bounced for Derek Hales, and it would have been interesting to see what had happened if he'd have been given a chance to strike at goal. Here come Wednesday again with Whittingham. Williams. Francis is the man spare on the far side. There is Francis. And Francis again to the back post. And Steve Brown with the header. It'll be a corner to Sheffield Wednesday with just 8 minutes remaining of this game. Charlton Athletic 3, Sheffield Wednesday 3. Whittingham with the corner, Bennett with the clearance. Waddle getting in front of Robert Lee. Whittingham couldn't quite keep it in. Robert Lee now with the throw. Lurker turns inside, finds Carl Leeburn. Paulinger with a pass out towards Russell. Nice touch off towards Sean Newton. And in towards Carl Leeburn. And now the little touch off towards Linger, but Robert Lee nips in there and nicks it away from Williams. And maybe Lee and Derek Hales can combine once again. But there goes Sean Newton with a chance. Oh, good save by Pressman. Sean Newton there bursting forward from left back. I wondered whether he might try and find Leeburn or possibly Lee or possibly even Hales, but he didn't try and find any of them. He went on his own and forced a fine save from Kevin Pressman. And are we going to get a winner in the last 7 minutes of this game? Francis now for Wednesday. Williams. The yellow shirts come forward once again. Mark Bright. Williams again. Atherton now. Bob Boulder comes and collects. Mark Bright offered a token challenge, but Bob was there. Very nearly 3,500 people have turned out to pay their respects, or to pay tribute, I should say. Pay your respects sounds a little bit macabre, but to pay tribute to one of Charlton's finest goalkeepers of modern times. And I think probably good enough to rank up alongside the greats such as Sam Bartram and Charlie Wright. And Robert Lee now trying to work an opening over towards Carl Leeburn. But good news for Bob that so many people have turned out to see him this evening and to see a good game played in a good spirit, and a game in which many of Wednesday's established first choice players like Atherton, Nolan And of course the England internationals, Des Walker and Chris Waddle, have played the full game. So no question of Trevor Francis bringing his youth team, which you do tend to find in occasionally in this type of match. Francis has brought a full-strength side. We've seen both Kevin Pressman and Chris Woods in goal. So we've seen plenty of players who are either current internationals or former internationals out on the field this evening, including, of course, our own Robert Lee. Francis across to Atherton. Waddle now for Sheffield Wednesday. Neat ball for Atherton. Wednesday could be coming for the winner here. Bright with the chance. Newton with the clearance. We've just 4 minutes remaining of this game. Waddle now for Wednesday, sweeping it in towards Barker. Boulder with the punch, and I think Bob delighted to get involved there, make the save. Now Williams could force him to make another save, but that one's easy enough for Bob. And he throws it out looking for Robert Lee. Williams gets there. Williams again. This is Linnigan, and now Chris Waddle again for Sheffield Wednesday. And again another sweet pass with the outside of the foot. That will be a corner kick to Sheffield Wednesday. And there indeed is the final whistle. It's finished 3 goals each. Charlton Athletic 3, Sheffield Wednesday 3 in the Bob Boulder benefit match. And handshakes for Bob all round, I feel. It was a game, an entertaining game, played in an excellent spirit. There were some marvellous goals, some lovely skills, some terrific passing, and magnificent to see players like Robert Lee, Gordon Watson and Derek Hales in a Charlton shirt, and wonderful to see Sheffield Wednesday bringing their full-strength side along to the Valley this evening. I'm sure Bob is going to be the last man to leave the field here this evening. A handshake there for Kevin Pressman, and a hand for all the fans who have turned out here for him this evening. I'm sure Bob will want to stay on the pitch here at the Valley for as long as he possibly can. This has definitely been his night. 3 fine goals from either side. It was David White that gave Charlton the lead, and Bob's going to say a few words, I think. And I think Bob is going to go off and do almost a lap of honour for the fans here at the Valley, and an appreciation from the East Stand supporters here at the Valley tonight. And we're going to see some shedding of clothing, I feel, reminiscent perhaps of the playoff at St Andrews against Leeds United. Handshakes all round for Bob. A memorable evening for one of our most popular players of modern times. It's been a terrific evening here at the Valley. David White gave Charlton the lead. Wednesday equalised and went in front with a fine goal from Trevor Francis. Gordon Watson equalised with his first ever goal at the Valley before Guy Whittingham scored a splendid third for Wednesday, and it was Peter Garland who scored the last goal of the game, a splendid dipping volley from the edge of the box. But the night belongs to this chap out on the pitch in front of us now. The night belongs to Bob Boulder.
Like, in front of China, Mark, yeah? In front of China, Blake? Or there by the manager? Yeah, sure.
No, Charles, that is something.
Yeah, That's right. Well done, Bob. 3,500 people there tonight. It was a great occasion.
Marvellous one, especially at the end night with the lump in the throat, everybody cheering and stuff like that. A bit like the old days, I think, you know, when made a good save and things like that, some crucial saves at the end of the game, and it was lovely. I haven't heard it for a long time, obviously.
It's nice to see Sheff Wednesday tonight. Brought a full squad down and really entertained us.
Yeah, it was marvellous. You know, like Trevor Francis said, he gave his word, which he did, and he just brought everybody down. And really, I can't thank him enough, because it's a crucial time for them at the moment. You know, they need a couple more points, perhaps, to be safe in the Premier League. And I really do hope they do it. You know, they deserve it.
Does it bring back great memories, standing out there, the floodlights on in front of the crowd, all shouting, all going on?
Yeah, it was. As I say, brought back memories like before, but. It was just nice to come back at Charlton and play on the Valley. It means a lot to myself, and also one or two of the lads, obviously Robert Lee, Gordon Watson. Gordon hadn't played at the Valley before, and it really meant a lot to him tonight. And I thought he played wonderful. I thought the goal he scored, and that was really like set him up. He just loved that.
3-3 was quite an exciting game, and Trevor Francis even showing a bit of his old flashing stuff there tonight. Yeah,
he's obviously scored, and that he struck one right in the corner, but. I think they must be watching like videotapes of my weakness on that left-hand side, and they spotted it. But no, it's a quality goal, and he had 2 or 3 strikes at the goal, and really give him a couple of yards, and he can still finish, obviously.
One more game left for the old semi-pro side. Then next season, is it? You call it a day?
Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is at the end of the season, I'm going to really seriously think about whether I need to play. Obviously semi-pro, and or really try and go into on the goalkeeping coaching side and the community side down where I live in Ramsgate, that area, and also working with Charlton Athletic on the community side with Jason Morgan. So I'm going to have to really start thinking seriously about things.
Well, Bob, 1986 to 1995, you've been a great servant here in the Valley. I'm sure on behalf of all the supporters, they'd love to wish you the best, and it was a great evening tonight. Bob Boulder, thank you very much.
Thanks very much, John. Lovely. I wish everybody. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Bob.
Cheers, John.